and it's gone out on YouTube as well. I thought I would do a quick swish technique with you, a quick swish video with you. You'll have to tell me if the audio's not working. You'll have to tell me if I'm mumbling or talking too quickly. This is my first one, as I say, so be kind. The swish technique is really useful. I was trying to think of what I could talk to you about. And the thing that I use most, probably aside from clinical hypnotherapy, is this technique called the swish. And it's so simple. And all we're really doing is we're telling your brain what's important, and we're telling your brain what's not important. So we've all got this image that we've built up in our minds of, well, why would it be? I mean, maybe that you've got a job interview coming up, or you've had a meeting that you've had in the books for ages, and in the past these meetings haven't gone great. Perhaps it's kind of with phobia work. So I usually use a technique called the must rewind technique, the trauma technique, but this can be really useful around that as well. So maybe you're visualizing yourself getting on the plane and you're starting to really worry about it, or maybe it's just going to see family or something like that, or it's literally endless, the possibilities that you can use this for. I've used it for driving lessons. When I first learned, I passed my test first time, probably because of this technique, if I'm totally honest. It kept me nice and calm. It helped me visualize the end goal rather than that worry before it. So what we're really good at is building up this negative image. Okay, so if you've got something coming up, have a little think now. Have a think of something that you're a little bit worried about, maybe a lot worried about, and I guarantee, if you've got the ability to, that you've built up this strong image. Okay, if you close your eyes, you can see a photograph or an image of that. Okay, and we do this quite a lot. We build up these images. This swish technique isn't something that you've not have done before. Nothing that I do in my practice room, which you can see here, is new to people. It's maybe a different perspective, a different way of looking at it, but it's all something we've done before. So we already sit there and we kind of, I call it negative trance. So we sit on the couch and we start worrying about things. Okay, and all I want to do is balance that. All I want to do is literally sit and have some positive trance, or some positive images that you've built up. And at the same time, this swish technique is really good at telling the brain, look, this isn't important to me anymore. So as I said, this might be something that you come back to later. Maybe it's not something that you have time for at 9:30 in the morning on a Thursday. I kind of tried to sneak this in so I could get my first one out before people saw it, really. So yeah, this may be something that you come back to. It'll be on YouTube, as I say, and it'll be on LinkedIn Live. It's a nice visualization. So if you can get yourself nice and comfortable. Okay, first of all, we're going to start off, and this is an NLP technique, but it's something that I very much made kind of my own. It's been very similar to some other people's, but very different from some other people's. So I'm going to start off with a comfortable chair, and you're sat there in this really comfortable chair, and hopefully this is a real comfortable chair that you're sat in. Maybe you're at work, maybe you're working from home, and you can get yourself a nice comfortable space. If you're at home, you can use this technique. You can lie in your bed and just lie down. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. You can do this with your eyes open, but when clients do that, it usually freaks me out a little bit, so I ask them to close their eyes. So close your eyes, get nice and comfortable, and I want you to imagine yourself in a really comfortable space. We're going to start off with this moment of worry, this moment of anxiety, this unhelpful moment. And so sometimes it can be useful to imagine these as two photographs that you're looking at, or perhaps you're looking at a TV screen and it's almost like a Virgin or Sky, one of those that has picture in picture. So we've got that main image, and at the moment that's that moment of worry, that moment of anxiety, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and in the top corner there we've got this moment of achievement. In a moment I'm going to click my fingers and we're going to swap them across. So for now, you're sat there, you're on this comfortable couch, and you can see perhaps that TV in front of you. And that moment of worry might be that moment, as I say, that you're maybe walking into the airport. Maybe it's that moment that you're going to your driving test, or you're about to step onto the podium to give that talk. For me, it was about 5 minutes before I got here. Okay, and you've built it up before. It's a very clear image. So you sat there, you're comfortable, your eyes are closed, and you've got that first image, that moment of worry. And this is an image that you've built up over time. It's very clear to you. Your brain can bring it up very quickly. In a moment, I'm going to click my fingers and we're going to swap across to that moment of achievement. Okay, so we swap across to that moment of achievement, and it's a big, bold, beautiful image. You're painting the colors in this image. So there's vibrant greens or blues or reds or yellows. And this image, that moment of achievement, is perhaps when you're getting off that plane. Perhaps it's 2 weeks later when you're showing your partner or your family those pictures. Perhaps it's you walking away with that certificate knowing that you've achieved something. Perhaps it's the round of applause as you walk down from that podium. It's your moment. It can be as simple as being in your back garden or in the park, sat with friends, smiling. And interestingly, you can see your face. Maybe it's not that big toothy grin, but you know that you've achieved what you set out to achieve. You know that you're happy here in this space. You're proud of yourself. Maybe it's a week, 2 weeks, a month, but you've got to where you want to be. Perhaps you've started enrolling on a course and you've started really taking in that information and really enjoying those lectures. And it's just you thinking about that, reading one of those textbooks. It's so simple. We're going from somewhere where an emotion, a vision, a visualization that we find difficult to that moment of achievement, that moment where you're proud of yourself. And I click my fingers and we're back at that moment of worry, that moment of anxiety. And that picture's still there. It's still something you've brought up before, but it's almost a little bit blurry. Perhaps the edges are starting to fade a little bit. The colours are starting to kind of white out a little bit. It's not as important to you. It's becoming less significant, less important. And we click our fingers and we're back into that moment of achievement. And it's almost shocking when you get to it. It's almost so bright that you kind of step back a little moment. And again, you can see those images. You can see your face. You can see that pride on it. Perhaps you're laughing. Perhaps you're with family, with friends. Perhaps you're just on your own, sat comfortably, knowing that you've got to where you want to be. And you can just relish. You can just sit in this feeling for a little while. You can just enjoy this feeling. And now we flick back to that moment of anxiety, that moment of worry, and it's hard to see. It's hard to make out this image that at first was so clear to you, that you've had for perhaps years, perhaps months. And all of a sudden, it doesn't mean as much to you. Those edges are faded again. Perhaps it's like an old film. Perhaps it's like, those Matrix films in the 90s. It's all kind of greened out or blued out. Those edges have become funny. You can barely make yourself out anymore. You can barely make out this image anymore. It really is becoming less important to you. And again, we're back to that moment of achievement. And it's almost instant now. You can really relish that feeling, that emotion that rises up inside you. And you can let them all just kind of join in. You can be proud of yourself. Take that time to be proud of yourself. We often don't take enough time to just sit down and enjoy those feelings. Enjoy that pride in ourselves. Enjoy that journey that we've made. Those steps that we've taken. I guarantee any client that comes to me, it's the first step is maybe giving me a call, coming through that gate. It's not easy. We take all those steps and we often don't see the effort that we've made. We often don't see the work that we've put in to get there. But in this moment, you can see that. And again, you can see your face, and maybe it's not that big toothy grin, but it's calm. It's almost like somebody's taken a picture of you at a wedding or with friends, and you didn't know the picture was being taken. But when you see the picture later on, you know that in that moment, you were calm, you were happy, you were proud of yourself, you were having a really good time. Okay, and we're back to that moment of that anxiety, that moment of worry, that stress. And that image is kind of becoming useless to us. It's almost like an old photograph that you pick up at a car boot sale. The images have become worn. It's like a map that's been folded too many times, perhaps burned. You really can't make it out. It's been so sun bleached that you know this image was important to you at one time. But now there's no point keeping it. It does nothing for you. So I want you to literally put your hands out in front of you. I want you to scrunch it into a ball, whether it's off the TV. Don't forget, this is a visualization. It doesn't need to be real. Get that image, scrunch it into a ball, and I want you to throw it over your shoulder into the bin. Okay, and all we're left with is that moment of achievement. That's that image now. That big, bright, beautiful image that brings forward all those happy emotions, all those positive emotions. And we're not looking for, Gandhi-esque happy and positive. I'm not a yogi, but we are looking for something that gives you that drive towards it. That thing that pulls you forward. But we're also telling the brain, look, you can have this. This is something that is attainable. This is something that you can do. We just need to take those steps. Let's concentrate on that rather than that thing that stopped us from even taking that first step. And you can open your eyes. How did that feel? It's a really simple technique, but it's very, very useful. I use it all the time for both myself and for clients. We're literally just telling the brain, look, I know you had this image that you thought was important. You kept telling me about it, but it's not important to me anymore. This one's actually the most important. This is where I want to go. It's something that we've done in the past when we were children, as we've grown up, but it's something that sometimes we lose. Sometimes we lose the perspective on it to see that we can actually do this and actually believe in ourselves that it's important enough that we can use it. And so it's just a really simple, really great technique. I'll probably do another video again when I've looked back at this and decided that I didn't do enough. But if you've enjoyed it, let me know. If you think that it's useful, let me know. If there's no audio, again, let me know, and I'll do it again. So yeah, really simple technique. Have a go at it. Let me know how you get on with it. If you've got any questions about it, I'm on Instagram. If you look for Ben Gaskell Hypnotherapy, you can email me at ben@thisiswellness.co.uk, or you can just leave me a message on YouTube or LinkedIn. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.